Chef, you ain't no chef, but today we're gonna be cooking like chefs. So what we're gonna be making today is we're gonna make a mushroom and shallot risotto, and we're gonna make some fresh marlin. We're gonna put some oil in, just regular oil, and then some salt, some pepper, some garlic, and light chili powder, just a little bit, just to spice it up some, because it goes well with the mushroom risotto. Alright, so we're just gonna rub that in. Just make sure that you get all the fish so that the moisture stays in the fish. Marlin is pretty steaky, so it's good. It's good to grill. I'm not gonna grill it. I'm gonna put it in the cast iron pan because I like the flavor, but you could put this on the grill. You could cook it however. It doesn't take long to cook, so that's good. All right, so we're gonna mince some garlic. Because we're gonna put this in our risotto. We're gonna use some garlic, some rosemary, and some shallots, and some mushroom. And we're just gonna chop up probably like a quarter of a teaspoon of fresh rosemary. Just gonna roughly chop that. Now we're gonna mince some shallots. Shallot is my favorite vegetable from the onion family. It tastes a little bit like garlic, a little bit like red onion, and a little bit of white onion. When I discovered this onion, I really don't like any other onion, but sometimes I use it. This is absolutely amazing. Alright, so we're gonna do some portobello mushrooms, some cremini, and some shiitake mushrooms. So we're gonna dice up. I like to dice this kind of in half and then just into squares. And this is going separate from the onions and the shallots because we're gonna cook that. We're gonna sweat the shallots first with the garlic and the rosemary, and then we're gonna put the mushrooms after into it. So this is some cremini mushrooms. And this we're also gonna cut, trying to get it into squares as best as we can. Put that with the other mushrooms, and we're gonna get the shiitake mushrooms. Now these mushrooms, the end of the tail, you can't eat that, so we're just gonna get about that much off of the ends and just chuck it if you were making a sauce or something that's gonna cook for a long time, that's fine, because it'll break down, but for what we're making, they're not gonna break down in 20 minutes. And I like to just cook this in strips, just to kind of differentiate a little bit the type of the mushrooms that we're cooking. Okay, now we're ready to start frying. Alright, so we're gonna melt about a tablespoon of butter. I got the heat set to like about medium high. So we're just gonna melt that down for a couple seconds. And then we're gonna add some oil so the butter doesn't burn. Burnt butter is not good. So now we're gonna sweat the shallots with the garlic, you know, until they soft. So we're just gonna add that in and stir that. Now let it go for a little while. This might take a couple minutes, and then we're gonna add the mushrooms to it. Alright, it's been a couple minutes, and you just gotta make sure you keep stirring it the whole way so that it doesn't stick, you know. We don't want it to stick too much. A little bit is fine. So we gotta add some white wine to it, because risotto calls for white wine. So we're gonna add the mushrooms now to it. And I know it looks like a lot, but the mushrooms are gonna cook down to about nothing. So we're just gonna keep stirring that. So the mushrooms are gonna add some water. So it's gonna help everything cook good. So just stir that down until it cooks down. Now we're at 5 minutes later, and you can see the mushroom is broken down a lot. This is what you want. Now I'm gonna put in the arborio rice in it, Italian rice, about 1.5 cups. That's not a lot of science to making this kind of rice, because you could add more water if you need it. As to where if you were making regular rices, you gotta be all technical and measure and whatever. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just gonna stir it in. And add the wine. Wine's very important in risotto. It gives you that risotto taste. It's a little bit of spicy taste. Stir that in. Wow, it smells delicious. Whew. Now what we want to do is we want to turn the heat down to low heat so that it doesn't really stick to the bottom. I got this cool cast iron pan that helps it from sticking, but you still got to watch it. So put it in low heat, and we're going to add the chicken stock. I got about 4 cups of chicken stock in there. So we're going to stir in the chicken stock, and now we could just let the risotto do its own thing. We're just going to keep stirring it. I know some recipes call for you put in a little bit of the liquid at the time. I don't like to do that. It's a pain in the neck, and it really doesn't taste any different. It's not in my opinion. So I'm just gonna let this go. It should take about 25 minutes. So now we're gonna start working on the fish.
Alright, you're good.
Okay, so this is on really high heat. So I'm gonna put some oil. And we're gonna let it smoke a little bit. Just drop the fish down. Now have me flip it. So the rice is done and the fish is done. You want to try to time it so that it's done at the same time. Now we're just gonna plate it and eat. Alright, so we're gonna put the risotto right on the middle of the plate. That looks and smells incredible, let me tell you. And we're gonna put the fish right on top. And there you have it. God. I ain't no chef, but I eat like a chef.